here, and I just wanted to turn on my stream so I'm not starting super late, but unfortunately, I need to let Zoe out, and I'm trying to put some music on, and I also need to get some freaking chapstick. But I'm here, okay? Let me let the dog out. Come on now. Get this going. And it says luck and divine. Oh. Okay, let's see what this one is. Okay, I just need to go grab some chapstick. Here it is. Looking for my phone, and it's right here the whole time. Okay, can't get too comfortable because she's gonna want to come back inside. But for now, happy Thursday. It is approximately 5 o'clock, April 9th, 2026, and I will be doing a mobility combo Pilates type day. I did kind of want to make, because it's Body Thinks Thursday, and everybody knows that Body Thinks Thursday is supposed to be the day where I focus on something related to the body that's educational and not just me talking about some random shit. And so today, and I think I titled today's stream Double Standards. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I came up with that title at the beginning of the conception of this idea. And by the time I went to start streaming, I had already stopped thinking about it and moved on to something else. So I can't remember why I was calling it that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember why I was calling it that. But I do know what I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to bring it up in a way that makes it sound like it's super I'm a teacher and I'm going to show you or teach you this thing or whatever. But because it is in my nature and quite literally ingrained into my my circadian rhythms. I don't know what's the there's another name for the clock of time, not of 24 hours, but of yearly, and I will not be able to remember right now. Anyways, I feel these natural calls tied to nature, birds and the bees, if you will, to talk about certain things. And it's spring, and I've said before, I've taught sex education since I started teaching. It's literally one of the classes that you have to be specifically trained to teach. You can't just be I teach math and I also teach a one sex ed course. You have to have a certain type of training for it. And there's only 2 teachers that can teach it in the whole school, which is myself and a PE teacher, or what would be a health teacher. And in order to qualify to be a health teacher, you have to be a PE teacher. It doesn't even matter if you were actually a nurse, in fact, because you can be a nurse and not have the proper education to work with children. So you have to have both, and there are certain programs that are just built to have them in there together. And so for me, because I learn a lot of anatomy for the health portion, and I also learn a lot of psychology for the health portion, but it's just different things that a math teacher isn't going to learn in college because they're taking a math class. Come on. But it's cool because I think it's cool. Don't do it. Because I get to study people and things and patterns, and so I notice them in myself in the things I do, and I'm like, is that because I've conditioned myself to be that way, or is that because I'm actually responding to what's happening outside? And that, you know, the birds and the bees, it's a time of the year where people start to flurry out into the sun and mingle, and you know, things can get exciting. And I feel like if I talk about this, I don't want it to seem like I'm talking about it to like kids, right? Like, because that's what I normally teach. Like, I will talk about it in like a very like, this is what the school says we have to discuss, and you know, if you have questions, I'll answer them anonymously and all of that. But just to like actually like talk about like fundamentals of certain concepts that become embedded into understanding the totality of certain events, instead of just thinking of them as like these single items, one off, to like make people feel guilt or shame in their actions. And I think that that's what they obviously they want us to do. Which, you know, when I teach a lot of my concepts, especially when I'm talking about like, you know, finance and things like that, it's just like recognizing that like as much as you feel like you are benefiting from some sort of hierarchy, like you have enough money to go to the restaurant you want to go to every day. It's not about whether or not you can afford it and whether or not it makes you feel good if you can afford it. It's whether or not the food that you're putting in your body is good for you, right? Like if you're spending a ton of money to go out to eat, but the food that you're putting into your body is actually making you sick, then you're paying to get sick, right? And so it's just kind of counterproductive. And that's the way that marketing works, is it tricks you into thinking that something that's bad for you is what you should be wasting your money on. So not only are you not retaining your money or your energy or whatever it is, but you're giving it away to something that's also going to continue to deplete you. And that's the trap, that, you know, and that is the game, right? That's how every business, corporation, like, you know, that's capitalism, as I say, is finding a way to get people hooked, whether it's a drug or it's some sort of addiction outside of, you know, substances, even just like gambling, things like that, right? Like it's all about zoom it out. It's all about how can we control you with something, period. And if we can trick you into thinking that it's what you want and that you're winning while you're also not winning, then we all die together in a sense, you know. Think about like smoking, for example. Most people smoke cigarettes. They know the cigarette costs them money. They're not technically getting anything from the cigarette. It's a physical response that they trained their body to have in the first place, and it's killing them. Like, what's at this point, smoking a cigarette is like you watch this loop, and you're just you could, you know, some people do it. You know, I'm not gonna say that I don't partake in certain smoking things. Okay, if you know me, you know me. I'm just saying it's one of those situations where you don't realize you're being tricked into putting yourself in a loop that would not otherwise exist or need to exist, and you have to step outside of yourself, step outside of the situation, and look at it as A plus B equals C, whatever, right? If you have this action that you do not need to survive, and you already know that, you've already lived your life up until XYZ, and you had a survival rate of 100%, and you introduce A, right, into this equation. Now, you know the difference. You have, I'm not going to do the math in my head because I'm just going to get even more confused trying to make a quadratic formula in my head. Why did I just try to make a quadratic formula in my head? Tell me why. Why did we go there? Why did we go there? Let me stop. The point is, when you are trying to make a decision and you feel like it's about your preferences and whether or not you're reaching your goals, or even if you think you are, always stop and ask yourself, is this a choice I'm making because it's something I actually want to do, Or is this something that I'm being conditioned into thinking I have to do it, or I should do it, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing? And I guess another way I could talk about that, and I've said this before, is like my first marriage. Like, I knew the steps to being like a happy family, like married, and all the things that I like envisioned in my head, right? But it got so robotic that it didn't even actually make sense when you thought about it, right? Like, oh, you just pick one, right? And then go on, and things will work out like that. And I don't know where I'm going with this at this point. I'm just saying that when you're making decisions, you should always ask yourself, especially now in this digital age with marketing and photoshopping and even just the music. It's always, like I said, I like what I like. I don't judge anybody for listening to anything. You guys know I listen to Kanye West. He's one of the grimiest gooners. But for me, it's like understanding how we actually just... I feel like I'm digging myself into a hole by trying not to sound teacher-y, and then it's just getting even more teacher-y, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Where was I going with this whole stream? I've been sidetracked. Like literally to complete silence just now. I don't know. But I'm glad that I stopped. Whatever I did, I'm glad that I stopped. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. It's really just a messed up cycle that we are putting ourselves in, y'all. Like, imagine someone excusing your faults because it makes them rich. Imagine someone imposing faults on someone because it makes them rich. Like, these are all very fucked up things. We should just let things be. Yeah. I've just been hit reset. Yeah. I mean, I'll try and come back to it, but my brain definitely just went like completely blank as I was trying to talk. And I think it was like a combination of me like realizing I didn't know where I was going, and then also trying to like not go where I didn't want to go, and the music being on, and then also trying to remember why the hell I named this stream what I named it. I already don't remember what I named it. What did I call this stream again? Is anybody on here? What did I call this stream? You know what it is? I think I'm just having like a lot of philosophical thoughts internally, deciding if I should present them. And because I'm not teaching, and this is what I say, I don't do this when I'm teaching. I don't just run these like giant concepts by my kids. But I do have the opportunity to observe my questions with the children, right? And at this point, I can tell that there are certain things happening and it's just like, there's no good role models, you know? It's like the role models that are good role models get literally killed, y'all. Like, it's so sad. It really is. Or they get like silenced to the point where they just have no voice at all. Because like it doesn't sell to have fans that follow someone that does the right thing. Because if you do the right thing, you don't end up in trouble. But if you're not in trouble, you don't end up, meeting lawyers and having to pay fees and insurance claims and blackmail and STDs. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. It's like the blackmail in this situation that we call show business is so heavy that I don't think people understand it. It's like you could ruin somebody's life with an STD. Quite literally. I mean, I'm so lucky. I don't know what it's like to have one. When I first started dating my second husband, I don't know this motherfucker, and the more I learn about him, the more I realize I never really did know this motherfucker. And I'm kind of glad that I don't, because I don't know. It might make me feel bad about myself to know what he, you know what I'm saying? And that's the point. It's like you can spend your whole life avoiding AIDS, and it takes hooking up with one person that doesn't fucking care. That's it. And you're done. And you're fucking done. And I have this conversation in my teaching meetings with other people, and their whole thing is, like, there's a cure, or there's a vaccine for AIDS, or like a medication, and you'll be able to live. And it's like, no. You have to recognize, and that this is what I don't think people also think about long fucking term, should not stop at your life if you think you want to be a parent. You saying, oh, well, I will be able to live on my life until I'm 75 and I'll be happy with that. But if you decide you want to have a kid, your kid has AIDS. You just brought a child into the world that has AIDS because you're fucking selfish. You couldn't take 5 minutes to go to the store or find something, or better yet, use your fucking hand, because what are you, a fucking beast? You can't just, I have to have it. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, if it was so urgent and so necessary for you to have an orgasm, literally the fastest way for you to do it would be to yourself. So the logic of saying like, it's a biological thing. Yeah, cavemen would just literally walk around just doing this all day because that's all. No, that's capitalism and marketing tricking you into thinking that the vice is so sociably acceptable that it's mandatory. That's literally like telling someone they have to pay for water. I hope you understand that. At some point you have to recognize that this shit was free, and we all lived, we all survived, we weren't all running around doing all this crazy shit. Like, if that was the case, it's just human nature. No, bruh, it's just the way they want you to think you have to think. So all they have to do is flash some fucking titties, and you just got AIDS because you're stupid. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's like when you see the simplest traps, it's the same thing. I mean, it's not obviously as violent with like females and like shopping and shit, but it's like, oh, girls have to shop. If they don't shop, they'll be upset. It's like, imagine a female coming out and being like, I had to spend $1 million. The shoes were on sale. I'm a girl. And you're just like, she is a girl. She is a girl. No, bitch. Like, eventually you have to draw the line and be like, it's not even about what's in the nature of the person. It's just about you looking like an idiot and trying to convince yourself that you have the power in the situation, right? And you're allowing yourself to be susceptible to weakness. And in the worst way, you cannot make yourself any more vulnerable than to open up your physical vessel. There's literally the max. There's nothing else you can do. You're saying, I am literally trusting you with my life right now. No thank you. No thank you to all of that, right? And that's why I think when it comes to, this is why I called it a double standard. Coming back to it. This is why I called it a double standard. because I feel like I have a lot of situations where I feel like I sound like I have a double standard with people that are like sex workers and people that are just hoes. And I think there's levels to sex work, first of all. I think the word sex is very gruesome. I don't like to use it when I'm teaching, but I'll use it as a technical term. It can be as simple as going, people consider like go-go dancers sex workers because, they're, think about like if you go to Paris and you see like a burlesque show, those are technically considered sex workers because they are topless. But if you've ever actually been to a burlesque show, you'll see that they're really just literally acrobats doing the shit that they do without any shirts on. And it's cool. And it's not, it just is what it is. There are tribes in Africa that walk around without shirts on, and we don't call them sex workers. And they ain't doing shit, but it's like the moment someone can do a cool jerk naked, it's a problem. I don't think that's the problem. The problem with certain sex work is the idea of selling trust, of selling safety, of selling the idea that the energy that I'm about to exchange with you is protected and safe. And that's not something you can just pay for. That's not something you can just be like, oh, I read this on a piece of paper that said you don't have XYZ on this date. What if that person's carrying something far more sinister? and I mean in physical ways and spiritual ways. Like, people's exes alone. Like, imagine me not being able to do shit because I have to worry about some ratchet, nasty bitch being mad at me for wanting her man when you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit you think about. Is my life worth interacting with someone that would bring something like that into my life? Is it worth it? And these are things that people don't always think about when they think about hooking up. It's like, you're not just saying, oh, it's just sex. Like, no, bro. Now I gotta deal with this bitch stalking my page until somebody likes her, because holy fuck, what did I do? I didn't do shit, I mean, and it's just the baggage and the bullshit that people don't think about when they say they're just hooking up. I mean, I don't have, like I said, I don't have a partner or anything right now, but I constantly see people making posts and liking posts about people that they're dating or married to someone, and their partner is liking other people's pictures. And I always just like, at some point, I don't know how you get to this point in your relationship where that's a conversation. If you weren't on the same page when you started dating, you're not dating, you're wasting each other's time. Because there needs to be a clear line from the very beginning of if you're okay with something or if you're not okay with something. But that not being sure place is where danger lies. That's where misconception and secrecy and shame and blackmail lie. That's where the shit gets fucked up, and that's why people can't trust each other, and that's how people keep spreading this nasty ass shit. And that's all I'm gonna say, because as someone who teaches sex education, I have no problem, like I said, with people's lifestyles. But as far as the education part is concerned, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that STDs are not something we want. Hopefully we can all agree on that. I mean, that sounds pretty remedial to me. I don't know, I feel like I remember that one in elementary school, to be honest. I don't even think we were allowed to talk about it, and we were still kind of like, yeah, nah, bruh. And then Andrew Tate, he said something about this, which is, it reigns supreme in my mind, which is why marketing to me is literally for kids. If you even just look at the porn ads and stuff that they have, it's like cross-eyed girls and stuff. Like, this is clearly made for a child. It's very sad. But it's just like you're looking at the idea of what you think something is like because you haven't actually experienced it in its totality. And instead of actually experiencing it in its raw form that's organically grown, you try to purchase it and replicate it through over exaggerated aspects so that you can visually see and or hear, to the point where you don't even realize that what you are doing is quite literally the opposite of what would have been happening had there never been any evidence that existed to begin with. And it's like the paradox of watching people being like, look at me doing this, and then they sit there and go like that. It's like, yeah, you wasted your fucking time. You're sitting down, like, go do something. I don't know. Like, I sit at home every day. Like, I'm not gonna go on vacation and be like, look at me sitting. Look, I'm sitting. Like, congratulations. Like, what, is there anything else? Like, go move around, bitch. Jesus, yeah. Oh, this actually. But people will literally, they'll sit in a place. Never mind. Let me know. I'm losing track of what I was talking about again. I'm losing track of what I was talking about. Oh, I think I was just talking about fucking STDs, man. I just know too many people that, unfortunately, them nasty bitches got something. And I will use my own situation as a prime example as to why people cannot and should not just be like, it's like, as an adult, I can tell my kids, I wish I could tell my kids, this shit don't change. I was not single my whole life. From literally like 6th grade, 7th grade on through my 30s. I wasn't single for longer than like 6 months. And I forgot what I was gonna say now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so because I wasn't single, I wasn't involved in like the dating scene. Like I didn't really know what it was like to be like in the streets and all that. Like I had friends that were single, but I didn't have to think about that. But I'd hear the stories, and like now I'm like in the mix. Like I'm not in the mix. I don't use dating sites. I don't go out or anything. But I hear the stories. It's just, it seems like it's rough out there, y'all. I keep losing my train of thought, and I feel like it's happening on purpose. Like something doesn't want me to say what I want to say. Why don't they want me to say what I want to say? Oh yes, I was gonna tell my story about, okay, so y'all know I got married twice. My second husband was such a mistake. Oh, and I hate to say it because I don't like to talk shit, and I actually am afraid this motherfucker will kill me. But it's the truth. And it's one of those lessons I wish I could pass down to as many people as I can. To just like trust yourself and your standards. If you have them, don't break them. Don't be like, oh, this is the exception. No, bitch, you're dumb. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Because I watched people that I actually like get along with, and I don't just have like this like other lustful attachment with. And I see the way they interact with people, and then I see the way that other people interact with people that like I didn't have a choice, like family or like obviously with my ex. And the way that they respond to things, it's just like, you know, there's so many people who are like, oh, it's a tit for tat, like they did this to me, so I'm gonna do it to them. And it's like, but I think they're an awful person, and that quality that they just displayed makes me disgusted with them as a human being. So why would I want to replicate and now become just like that person, right? That's why I just don't understand the whole like retaliation like theory and method that the youth are pushing. Because again, you're thinking to yourself, and this is me as a sex ed teacher, I'm mad at this person for hurting me in such a way. It's such an awful thing what they did. I think it's disgusting. I think they're an awful person. What a horrible person. So let me be that person too. Listen to that. I can't believe you just stabbed this, side of my bed and da 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 da. It's so awful. So let me do it too. You know what I mean? Like, and that's putting it, in a lighter sense. You don't have to become the thing that you don't like because you don't like it. In fact, that sounds awful saying out loud. I don't like this thing, so I want to become it. Huh? And now you just made yourself into someone that other people who would have liked you now don't want to like, because nigga, you just like them. Right? Because I always feel like I get the dog end of the stick when it comes to these relationships. My ex is extremely taller than me, over a foot taller than me, and obviously like combat trained fucking Marine. I don't even shoot guns. I don't believe in killing. I'm, pretty innocent in this situation, and somehow I get made out to be the dangerous one in all of it because of theatrics. To the point where I truly felt like the male in the situation, like to the last second. And then that was the fucking beard right there. That was the beard right there. It was like, who would have ever thought, right? But this guy literally said under oath. This is how you're bitch made too. This guy said under oath that I was like, because he's desperate. I don't know what the fuck. At this point, he really went bitch made, like fucking full female fledged feline. I don't know what bitch, like scratching at the walls type shit. He said that I had an STD that I got from cheating on him. What? Like, he said this under oath. So I'm thinking to myself, like, there's so much to unpack here. Because, like, obviously saying someone has an STD is one of the easiest things to prove. All you have to do is get a test. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, you've already been lying about everything else. We won't lie about the other shit he was lying about. I'm like, all I have to do, right, is get the freaking test, give it to the judge, and be like, here's the proof that he says I have an STD that I got from cheating on him. So here's my blood work that shows I don't have a single STD, which means everything he's saying is a fucking lie. He's freaking crazy. Yo, and now you will understand why I begged for the protection order. Like, please just give me anything in writing. I'm not gonna fucking argue with you about why I deserve it or you deserve it. Like, I really just want you to go away. But, like, people will do shit like that because that's the shit that they do. Like, unfortunately. And, like, just imagine if I did get an STD out of everything I did in my life to talk about being safe and literally doing everything to make sure. I mean, it's not fucking hard. It's not hard. Like, there are so many ways to prevent STDs. It's just like reckless stupidness of thinking, of not thinking, which is even worse because it's just like, bitch, you can make a baby, you can literally get a life-threatening disease in 2 minutes. A life-threatening disease in 2 minutes for a bitch that's, when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna be like, oh no, like quite literally. I don't know, maybe that's why guys, and I don't personally, I I've never met a guy that would admit to me to his face that he pays for hookers. Thankfully, I've been around guys that have been able to pull girls without needing to pay for it. Which apparently is not. I don't know if it's as I get older, paying for it is just going to be a thing, or I just happen to be around a very strange group of people for a short bit. But it just seems to me, again, it's one of those things, it's like, someone's like, oh, and if somebody was like, I'll hug you for $2, like a creepy old man would probably say that, but at the same time, it's like, you really do that? Again, it's like, how pathetic. I don't know what it feels like to be pathetic. I don't think it's a male thing, because I, like, with my male friends, haven't not had to witness them needing to pay for things like that. Like, that's quite the opposite, actually. Oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a double standard? I don't think it's a double standard to say that if you're a hoe, it's because you feel it in your heart and you're having like a resonance with that person in that situation, and you just have to be smart enough to say, okay, I need to protect my body from this potential of whatever's happening, you know. Obviously, if you are in a relationship and you're like, I have this urge to like hook up with somebody, that makes you a bad person. You know, call your partner, tell them you don't want to be in a relationship anymore. But all of my hoe friends have been open hoes, so you can't get mad at a hoe for being a hoe when they're telling you they're a hoe. Like if someone's openly a hoe and they're like, look, I love people, this is how I feel, like I don't want to change this, then that's how they are. But if that person is like, I'm a normal person and everything is fine, and then you find out that like they pay for it, that in itself changes who that person is, because the quality of your character to need to pay for it, like the self-esteem that you lack, and the fucking like the inability to do it without paying for it is a turnoff on such a level that you would be disqualified. Period. Because how could you think that that's what you would have to do unless you knew that's what you had to do? Unless that was already a part of your life. And to get to that point in life, again, you have to unpack that. That's a lot of unpacking. I don't want to have to worry about some bitch stalking my fucking social media for the rest of my fucking life. You know? I don't know. Thankfully, I've always, yeah, like I feel like I've been around guys. I'm a good judge of character. It's like, I don't know. I hang out with all sorts of people, to be honest, but I have been lucky enough that the guys that I've called friends have actually been decent people. Hoes for sure, but very, very much not lying about it. Very much not gay. Very much not DL. Very much not ashamed of who they are if they are gay. And not perpetrating lying and creating situations that just brings about more harm. Like those sorts of events shouldn't bring about harm. Like they're literally made to bring in happiness and elevate and create life. Like to make it into something that brings in negativity at the same time or introduces sickness introduces mistrust or whatever, like, for what? Like, that's like farting in the fucking car right after you get in. Like, you had the whole time. Sorry, I don't know where that analogy came from, but that was actually kind of funny. Because, yeah, why the fuck would you fart once you get in the car? If you were walking in, you couldn't just farted before you got in. Like, you don't have to bring that into your situation. You literally choose to do that. And I think there's enough people around in the world that everybody can find somebody that's looking for what they want. But what's important, children, what's important to remember is also that the things that you think you want are manufactured on purpose. And if you turn off your screens and stop looking to a platform to tell you what's attractive, to tell you what is a turn on, to tell you what face a girl makes when she's feeling aroused, I promise you it's not those faces. And if you just take a second to step back and look at it, you recognize that they're literally trying to turn you into a fucking weirdo by seeing how far they can trick you into thinking you want to die. Like, just think about, like, murder porn and, like all of that, like the abuse S&M shit that they have. Like, obviously, there's always been, like, cops and robbers and all that types of shit forever, like, but it gets to a point where some of the categories, and I'm not saying I look at porn, but I do understand how these sites work. So when you get to these categories and it literally says stuff about, like, blood, and you're like, I don't even want to know what that is going to entail, but the fact that that's a category that someone with any curiosity or a finger could slip, and you click on some shit you can't unsee. You know? Like, there's just certain things you can't unsee. And I've had that happen to me where I'm just like when I'm saying this, where I'm just like, I can't believe that this is even a category, and that this is a place where, again, I'm not doing shit. So I can only imagine if I was someone that was actually dark and looking for dark shit, like, and had access to dark shit, and it's just like, for what? Like, you have no reason. There's literally none. It's like, and then again, it's like everybody wants to be able to say that they had this once in a lifetime experience, that it's no longer a once in a lifetime if everybody's doing it. And we've just made it a thing that we are convincing people they like because there's some celebrity that did it and they seem to really like it. I feel like Billie Eilish talks about this. I've seen clips of her doing an interview in some capacity about this, and she's just like, yo, like, when I was young, they had me watching, like, really fucked up porn, and I didn't realize how fucked up it was. One, that it was, what I was watching was fucked up, but two, that I was that young and I had access to it and I was watching it and I was learning, thinking that that's what I was supposed to do. And it's like, imagine that. Like, a fucking child learning what they think is how, you know, whatever it's supposed to be, because they truly don't know, but they're seeing these people they idol, you know, saying that this is what it is, and they're only saying it because they're getting paid or forced to say it, you know, at this point, forced. I mean, jeez. So you can't fucking win, bro. Like, can we have a good role model in the fucking house, bro? Everybody gotta have something. As in, the moment there's anybody that's trying to help people not get AIDS or fucking sabotage their futures for a busted bitch on a Tuesday because she wanted to make an extra $40 or piss off some girl that her friend wants, it's just a mess, bro. Like, the world is so damaged. And nobody's winning anymore. Everybody looks like a fucking idiot. Yeah, literal, like, really, really good people that are good partners getting stuck with absolute losers because they have money. And it's like, you work and you do all of these things to get to where you are. You're fucking robbed. I don't know. It's like always something. Like, why would I want to put more potential hazards in my life by choice? I don't. I don't. But some people don't have anything to lose, and when you really don't know what you're missing, who knows what you're willing to do? I personally don't. As fucked up as that might sound, everything I've ever wanted to happen to me has happened to me so far. Because I don't walk into the world with these expectations. I let the world unfold for me, and I find solace and happiness where I can. And if I make it look good, then I make it look good. But people are willing to literally hate themselves, their lives, fuck up everything for an experience that they're not even really experiencing. Especially like the romance scammers now. Like, there are so many women that are married or engaged because they want a wedding. Not because they actually want to be married, like the guy, want to be faithful, want to have a family or anything. They just literally just want a wedding. Like, I kid you not, I know so many people like that are just like, I know what my wedding's gonna look like. It's like, what? Like, do you know what you want in a quality of a man? Like, he just needs to be able to afford this wedding. What the fuck, bitch? I cannot. I can't do it. I can't do it. Ugh. I'm not frustrated. It's just like I'm not frustrated too because like I know it's not only happening to me, and I'm not even talking out of my own frustration because like I said, like I'm not even talking to anybody. Like I've been 100% single for a very long time, but it's just like when they say like you watching the clock. Like I feel like I'm watching the clock, and there's so many people that I'm just like, this is really fucked up. Like, there's no reason for this person to not be in a better situation than what they're in. And it's an actual fucked up system. Like, it is just a fucking system, bro. It really is. And it's just sad. It's like, we're literally ruining the world. And then people are like, well, I can make a profit off of that. Let's just make an app for that. And like, no! Like, that's not how the universe works. Even if people end up breeding with these psyop relationships that they try to create, they're not putting together the proper frequencies. This is my birds and the bees talk, y'all. How many ways have they touched on why you should watch out for slimy people? with somebody, but they're secretly just recording you when you have sex so they can make money. That's a possibility every time you hook up with someone. So you should probably trust who you're hooking up with, that they would at least give you the benefit of the doubt to not do some shit like that. Right? Well, I have a friend who I will not name, but is in fact a cloud chaser. Ooh, and this is what cloud chasing will do to you. Chasing clout so hard, you're so impressed by someone's house that you don't notice that you've been recorded the whole time. Like, I noticed this shit in like the first 5 minutes. And this girl gonna be like, oh no, that's not normally on. Bitch. Are you serious? We are too old. We are too old for you to not notice this camera and to also convince yourself that it's only on now. Come on. Easy porn money, bruh. You gotta protect yourself out here. I don't think they're ready for these conversations. These sex ed teachers, man. Fucking pussies. They don't know ball. It is what it is. And I'm not talking about Balenciaga. And I don't mean the brand. I live for the random outbursts in classrooms and the shit I can't laugh out loud at, but later hold dear to my heart. I think what Kanye West talked about, like, seeing in symphonies and, like, understanding different components of different parts all at once. And when you're teaching and you're facing a classroom, it's quite literally like watching one. Where you can see, like, 2 kids over here telling a funny ass fucking joke that, like, is way high level thinking, and then these other kids over here doing some dumb shit, right? You're just like, we're in the same room while you're actually teaching, recognizing that neither one of these 2 groups is paying attention. So how are the other kids paying attention? Like, what the fuck? Making noises and shit, but everybody's being respectful, and it's like that nonstop, all day, every day. So there's gonna be a lot of birds and bees this season. It's supposed to be a really hot summer, and I feel like I couldn't be a TED talker because I freeball, bruh. I'm not good at doing the rehearsed shit. I actually thought about what I wanted to talk about for stream today before I streamed, and then as I started today, I completely, because I was trying to recall what I wanted to say, couldn't think of what I wanted to say at all. And that's alright. But DL guys, whether you're fathers or
whether you're just getting started in your DL career. It's never too late to come out the closet and be who you really are. You should be okay at this point. I know it might be hard. And honestly, again, I don't know any DL guys that have come out to me as DL. All the guys I know that are gay, and they're open and they're proud. And they're not all flamboyant. They don't all look the same. Some of them you would never know are gay. But the moment you start lying and bringing in that low frequency shit into situations that are supposed to be love and happiness, again, even if it's just a one night stand, whatever the case may be, you started bringing in fucking lies and bullshit. Again, same thing with the STD. Like, you walk into the bedroom knowing you got some shit, you're starting that shit off wrong. You know? What do you expect? And it's not necessary. All you have to do is be honest. But yeah, I was gonna say, I think a lot of guys, like, especially in like Diddy's situation, it's like exciting for people to not know and for it to be like a secret. But for me, I can usually tell. I won't talk about my own family, but I've had friends I mean, I'm not even gonna go there either, because yeah, my own family and my connection to people that think shaving their legs isn't gay, and then if I say it's gay, then you're gonna get offended because I'm a female saying you shaving your legs is gay because it's gay because you gay. 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 You know what I mean? I can say it to my not gay friends and they understand the joke, then you're gay. And that's okay if you're gay, just be gay. Joe gay ass. It's cause I'm an asshole, is the thing. It's okay. I won't bully you for being gay, I'll bully you for lying about it. That's all. The torture. No. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. DL guys are the most dangerous creature out there. They are worse than Karens because a DL guy will do the crime and go to the fucking court, put on the fucking robe, and be like, "It was him. I know. You're sentenced." No, thank you. You be gay over there. I don't know shit. I don't want to be a part of it. That's all I'm saying. Don't loop me in. I won't fucking know. Don't fucking tug on my energy and I won't know your shit. To be fair, like, I will promise you all right now, if you're watching it and you're still tuned into this, if I am talking about you and you feel like I'm talking about you, I read energies, and the only reason why I can read yours is because you are connecting to me. If you leave me alone, if you go away, if you leave my energy, I no longer have it. I no longer have it because there's nothing tethered. I promise you, you're not in my mind. It's like I have all this other stuff going on. My shit, all you guys know, all my shit gets typed. Okay, yeah, all right, now I know there's something going on. I'm not searching and looking for this shit. Okay? If I had the ability to just go on about my day without having to worry about some fucking loser can't figure out how to make a profit off of their own merit. I don't know. I'm not mad. I am sitting in a level Angelo. Whatever this is. Bruh, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I should stop trying to do talking. Because at this point, I'm just kind of like sitting in this one position. I mean, it is still a stretch, but it's not really any like actual exercise. Anybody could be doing this. If I was Asian, I would just be eating food. And that's not on some racist shit. That's just like on some practicality shit. Anyways, I'm gonna go now, y'all. This is a weird stream. Happy holidays.